let's just let's just talk about something, right? I I get curious about this because I don't know if anybody else understands this. I've been bitching. Right? Can I say that? I've been bitching many days thus far. Right? And when you're always complaining, right? Like dirty complaining, when you're low key complaining all the time, what kind of spirit does that put you in? I know for me just now, I had to come and realize like, why am I bitching? Right? And the answer is this. Man, I care about men, right? I I know how difficult life can be for men, right? So, you know, to the men of this world, we're all gonna come to, challenges. We're all gonna have to make decisions and choices, right? And the question is at least for me, like, how difficult was it for you to make the choice that you made? Right? I'm sure it was super difficult. Super duper difficult. Right? I'm sure it takes a lot of understanding and emotional intelligence to understand this one thing. Right? In order for a man and woman to be together, the man has to either conform, right, or reform, right? What are the telltale signs of conforming? Well, the man is kind of a weenie, right? Straight weenie. All right, so you kind of have to make your own judgment. Like, what does that mean? Like, the dude is a weenie. It means if you're happy around them, they get upset. They get upset. Why? When did happiness not be the baseline in your life? Right? When was happiness not like right there? Always. At least starting. Like it's the sidewalk. You can't, if you're just walking down the street and you're walking on the sidewalk, the feeling should always be happy. Right? That's the baseline. Right? So whatever feeling you're feeling throughout the day, like take a second to like figure out like what am I feeling? Am I just consuming and not being aware of how I feel? Right? A lot of people are spending a lot of time alone and consuming, right? Consuming information, consuming food, consuming, right? It's always you're always getting input, right? You're always getting input, consuming, right? You're always listening to music. Like there isn't a time of silence. Right? So you're never like consciously aware of how are you feeling, right? Because how are you feeling will lead to how are you thinking, and how are you thinking will lead into how you do what you do. Are you capable of doing it to the best of your ability by being present in the moment? Or are you one of these people that, nah, I'm too cool, I don't know if I want to try that hard because if I fail it's gonna I'm scared of trying my hardest because I don't want to suffer the consequence of failure. Right? The only way you can actually really try your hardest is if you're 100% present, focused on how are you feeling? What are you thinking? Because it affects how you live your life and what are you doing. So if you're taking deep breaths, no, seriously, this is how it works. If you're taking deep breaths and let it go, you could be consciously in that moment after exhalation. After you exhale, how am I feeling? How am I feeling? Happy, happy, happy. Right? You have to be careful of how happy you are around people, though, right? Because for some people, happiness isn't their baseline. So they're absolutely in astonishment that you're happy and they don't understand why. Matter of fact, they might be a little jealous of the happiness. Right? Some people might be a little envious of your happiness. Okay, so what? Your opinion of me is none of my business. What you think about me is none of my business. How hard is that to feel, especially when you're around people that you love? Because they're constantly affecting you, right? Everybody's affecting each other, right? So when you're in big families, you're constantly affecting each other. Like if you have a sister who has been known to be a cheater, right? Like you understand it, but at the same time you kind of want to influence her, like, yo, dude, that's not cool. Don't do that, right? Why? Because you're out here hurting people's feelings, right? Knowingly hurting people's feelings, right? Because you knew that when you when you let them hit, right? He's insecure, right? So maybe they're both. That's the whole thing. They're both insecure, right? But they're not taking time to feel. How do you feel? All right, if you got a bro that's doing the same thing, and sex is different. Like if you got a bro doing the same thing, like, dang, good job, bro. Yeah. 3 in 1 day? Oh, yeah. It's different. You see what I'm saying? It's different. But yeah, happiness. Happiness needs to be the baseline, right? And I have been kind of in a negative, right? These past couple of days. So, I apologize. See? Look how easy that is. I apologize. Would you please forgive me? I'll make sure to stay at a level of happiness. See? Because you have the choice. Everybody has a choice. Everybody's got a choice. And the men have a choice. When they came into the relationship, did they conform? Or did they reform? Did they get back to a level of happiness? I notice a lot of, especially my kids' grandparents, right? They know how to stay level-headed, right? Luis and Randy, they know how to stay level-headed. Although, like, I'm just gonna stay on the positive. I've actually never seen either one of them explode, which is probably why they're scared of me. Right? I've never seen them just crash out, right? So they're very, level-headed, the both of them. But if you understand their wives, right, beautiful. I'm not even going to talk about them because I really love my in-laws, right? And every man who's had children with multiple women, right? All your children's grandparents are your in-laws. There's no escaping that. Right? I'm sure we're still going to see each other like in the next 18 years. So it would be in my best interest to be understanding of them and just kind of love them. It doesn't really matter, right? Because my kids only need love. My kids only need, up until like, I say like 18, 22, kids from being babies all the way up until they're 22, all they need is love. They don't really need you to do anything for them, but to love them unconditionally and to have an environment that loves them unconditionally. They'll figure out what to do, right? Children on their own, I promise, will run outside and play. And you just have to be with them, right? Let them play outside in the sun. Telefua, you know what I mean? But naked. You want the sun on everybody, on the skin, right? You want the sun all over your skin. And you need to be outside with your, you know, if you're in the city, with your shirt off, socks off, pants off, right? And a banana hammock. You see what I'm saying? You need to be out here, get as much skin exposure as you can. Don't let the neighbors be upset with you because you know you're out there. Man, just put the towel up on the sides. Matter of fact, get the tent with the sides all blocked up, and there's only a sky opening, and you can just, right? But the children need just unconditional love and natural, just kind of like natural everything, right? Natural water, natural, you know, fruits with seeds, vegetables, non-GMO, right? Like just natural, right? But you gotta stay away from processed stuff. And I myself, my son loves ramen noodles, but I love ramen noodles, right? I started, when my son first came out, I used to just give him ramen noodles. My daughter too. My daughter loves Sour Punch straws, right? And if I'm being honest, I gave my baby Sour Punch straws when they first, you know what I mean? I let them lick the sugar, right? I love Sour Punch straws. Yeah, my daughter, she loves Sour Punch straws. She just needs the health, right? And they need to meet the sun. They need to meet the sun in the morning. They need to meet the sun at night, right? For your eyeballs, okay? It's good, right? It's good for your eyes. You want the great light for your eyeballs. Concentration on breath, so that you can check your emotions, and your baseline should be happy, right? Check after the exhalation. Yeah, check your breathing. Right? Feel good, right? Baseline's at a happy. Baseline's at a happy. Right? And fast and pray. Meaning always be checking in on being in the present moment. Whatever it is that you're doing. Because if you can live your life in this moment, you can choose how you want to live your life and set the baseline for yourself. And then you have to be aware of it when you're around other people, because there's a lot of people that don't check their baseline and just automatically like off program go into the negative, right? And you have to be aware of it. I get it. You're not that smart. Right? I get it. You're not that smart. All right, I shouldn't joke about it, but you just have to understand this about people. All right. And it's not saying that you're smarter than them. It's more so I'm checking my baseline. Where is my happy, right? Baseline is happy, right? You don't want to be any lower than peace, right? But happy, that's where you want to be at. Happy. So you definitely got to be aware, man, right? People, you have to watch the people, right, who don't have the baseline is happy, right? So then, if you don't know the law, they might try to hurt you. They might try to hurt you, man. Right? You have to really trust that you know how to be free of other people's, right? You have to have the mindset, and I heard this from everything that I say isn't original, right? The majority of everything that I say isn't original. It's everything that I say is a collection from people that have influenced myself, right? So when your baseline is happy, right? And then somebody comes around you who just with you guys, their baseline is subpar, right? Their baseline is subpar around you specifically, right? Your mindset should be your opinion about me is none of my business, right? Because in business, whatever contract that you're looking at, whatever business that you're looking at, that's the only thing you should be focused on. You really shouldn't be focused on what anybody else is doing, especially if when they come around you, they have a low vibrational frequency. I'm not saying be completely unaware of them. No, be aware of them, but choose to not do business with them. We're not, look, you need to go back and adjust yourself. I'm not doing business with you. Go. Get out of here. Right? Because your baseline is happy. And their baseline, their baseline probably isn't like that all the time. Right? It's just around you. When they come around you, it's like their baseline goes from whatever and it's just subpar. Right? So we're not willing to do business with you. Please take yourself over there. Right? Because your baseline is happy. Yeah. So how do you deal with the haters? You don't do business with them. Okay? You just don't do business with them. Right? In law and business, this is how it's done. The contract states that I only agree to give you this candy bar, right? But you have to give me something too. Right? That's business. Meaning if you're focused on somebody else who has a vibrational frequency around you, right? You just don't have to do business with them. You don't have to connect. You don't have to contact. It's just, cordial. I don't know. I can't be cordial sometimes. Sometimes I'm just like, ew. Because I have to make me laugh first. Okay? I I see somebody come in, I'm like, ugh. You feel like ass, okay? What's going on with you? Ah, man, don't mind my language, okay? But sometimes not. But a lot of times when your baseline isn't happy, and other people's are just not like that, you just have to not do business with them. Let me just repeat that. I gotta reiterate, because none of, especially in business, right? You don't have to like somebody you do business with. It actually it creates a better relationship if you do find reasons to like each other, right? But the contract has to be fulfilled, right? If anybody's ever worked with anybody else, they have an understanding like, look, the contract says this, till death do us part, right? I'll listen and be loyal to you, right? Or what are some contractual vows that you take as like man and woman in a relationship? Till death do us part, right? And then in sickness and in health, in times of trauma, turmoil, right? What else? Right? But essentially, the only thing a man wants is for a woman to assist him on his dream without jacking up the baseline. Right? The baseline is happiness. So contractually, in intimate relationships, that's where you want to be at, is happiness, joy, elation, right? If you're triggering each other and something's going on, you have to, right? Get everybody back on track, right? So that everybody understands, look, I got the dream here, right? Do you have the dream? No, you don't have the dream? Okay, I have the dream here. Let me quarterback this. You've never played quarterback in your life. You just know how to Pac-Man. Yo, let's get back to it. Happy baseline, right? Happiness is the baseline. So when you make contracts with people, you have to understand you don't have to really like them. Right? You don't really have to like each other. As long as they understand, look, my baseline is happy. Do you want to come up here? Right? You want me to help you up here? Then fix yourself, please. Okay? Okay? Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Right? But you want to be at the baseline happy, man. Okay? And everybody should be on board with this anyways, because those who are not are just ruining society. Right? Your baseline should be happy, and you should be conscious enough to make it happy. Right? And if somebody comes into your field that doesn't necessarily have those same vibrations, that could affect your thinking. Right? Because you're doing business without them knowing you're doing business, right? If someone's taking space up in your head, you got to stop doing business with them, or you got to find a way to do business with them that it's in your benefit, right? By thinking of them in a better light. The only reason why, right, is because your children, right, the youngsters around us, we should be accountable for how we're actually acting around them. You see what I'm saying? You want to be a good example. I want to be a good example to my children. I'm sure you want to be a good example to your children, right? So that's why we need to treat all children, right, with understanding. Look, they're just growing up, right? From their birth up until they're like 22, they need to be, children. Some people don't get out of understanding, like, look, it's not personal. It's business. Okay? It's just business. Stop taking it so personal. Right? Because when you take it personal, your emotions go like you just start judging. Ugh, right? You start your feelings will filter how you think, right? So if your baseline is that happiness, your filter is really good. If your baseline is subpar, your filter is not very good of understanding, right? That's why people are out here just swearing in front of a kid, you know what I mean? Like being a bad example to the kid, right? Like ruining their credit, or you know what I mean? Like these things are showing of parents, right? And of adults. Because as adults, you have to be aware, hey, these are just children, right? And when they get older, like some people, they get super old and they just lose all the understanding. They lose like, oh man, like what's really going on with this person? Oh yeah, their baseline isn't happy. You see what I'm saying? Their baseline emotionally is something different. It's subpar. So you're just like, oh dang, I see it. You just, right? Your filter isn't functioning properly, right? Because it's subpar. It's below peace, right? Peace is the last piece, right? Well, one step above that is happiness, right? That filter is good. Your thoughts, right? How do you make judgment? How do you use discernment? From your own experience or an understanding vicariously through somebody else, like, and you believe that to be true, right? Does that make sense? It's like the best way for someone to make good decisions and good choices and good judgments, right, is by using what they know that to be true. Okay. And so if kids are up out here learning like, oh man, uh it's okay to willingly, if a child like learns it's okay to hurt people, right, willingly, right, against someone else's will, then it's okay. What I'm saying is children look at adults to lead and guide them, right? And so they're always looking at the examples of the adults. So if they learn at a young age that it's okay to do something against what they truly believe inside, you're changing their perspective, right? And if your filter, if the when you hang out with children and your filter's jacked up, right? You came in and you're not at a happiness level, you're not happy, right? And you're not peaceful, you're subpar, right? You will jack the children's filter up because they're constantly like coming around you and your filter is like subpar, like unhappy. Right? And so they're looking at you like an example and they're feeling that. They're like, oh yeah, this is okay. It's not okay. It's not okay. Right? Your emotion should be happy so that you can be understanding to the children. But if it's subpar, you can't be understanding. You're just running off your own freaking program. That's selfish. That's selfish. Right? Because you're so selfish that you're not willing to work on yourself, right? And your filter, how you feel and what you think, right? That you're willing to affect the children in a way that's not good for them. Right? Because they come over, they see you, you're not feeling good all day long, right? Your baseline isn't happy, right? It's subpar. They come and see you and they're hanging out with you all day and your baseline is subpar all day. Ooh. Right? How do they know? How do they know that they need that you're subpar? They don't know. You're being an example to the children. So therefore, you need to be at a happy, right? Happy baseline or peaceful. Don't be subpar. Because if you're subpar, the children, they start growing up being these kids who misunderstand how to filter their thoughts. Therefore, the cycle keeps going. But if you're the one who sets the baseline, which is happy, right? No less than peaceful, then you filter out everybody that's not for you. Right? You can feel, dude, there's so many people who are unhappy that you can just be like, oh yeah, you're unhappy. You can just, I'm not doing business with you, right? I revoke the contract, right? You ever hear the letter revocation of power of attorney, right? And then you reinstate it and you send like an affidavit, right? So if you ever send a letter of rescission, right, claiming your security interest, this is kind of getting off subject, but it's the same thing. It's business, right? So understanding security interest in the banking system allows you to utilize the security interest to either discharge or pay off all debts, right? But this is what I know to be true. It's business, okay? Physically, it has to be spiritually first, man. I'm telling you, there's something about business that I've come to understand that it's about spirituality, right? It's about you making contracts with other spirits, right? You knowing who you are. I am a child of God. And standing on that, boy, I'm a child of God, and stand on that. Baseline, happy, no less than peaceful, right? So if you're a child of God and you're living baseline, happy, no less than peaceful, and the children around you are just fantastically great, right? Courageous, excited, wonderful, in awe, right? Because you love what you're doing in that moment. There's nothing more important. I'm over here still charging this thing. There's nothing more important than what you're doing in the moment. And there's only now. But choose and use discernment on how you do business. All right? Be mindful. This is the year of the horse. So it's tonga, 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 giddy up.